We are at time, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kira Heskey, and I am the Associate Director of Learning Support at UAGC. I will be the host for this session, Fostering Belonging and Connection, Building Thriving Online Learning Communities. By joining us today, you acknowledge that this session is being recorded and will be shared with TLC-related materials. Microphones will be muted for this presentation, but we encourage you to post questions and comments in the chat. Also, we have enabled live transcription. If you'd like to use it, click on the Show Captions button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Now, I'm pleased to introduce you to Dr. Holly Lopez, who is the program chair for the Child Development Program at UAGC. Dr. Stephanie Heald, program chair for the BAECA and the BAECE programs at UAGC, and Dr. Michelle Simasek, assistant professor for the BACD and the BACDDI programs. That's a lot of acronyms at UAGC. So now I'm going to hand things over to Holly. Holly, take it away.
Thanks so much, Kira. Welcome to our world. We have a lot of, we have some lengthy acronyms. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We're really excited to share about a project that we've been working on for almost 2 years, and we have had some exciting results. We were really interested in really trying to create strategies that would promote retention, course progression, and ultimately graduation rates, and do those interventions in a timely way. And we wanted to do it 2 ways with our early childhood and child development programs. By the way, we have 5 of those here at UAGC. And so we wanted to take all those students and create a online virtual learning community where students could seek support and support each other. And that would be asynchronous for our busy students. And we also wanted to create monthly synchronous students and faculty meet and greet meetings. So meetings where we would be able to get online and meet with students and create relationships and create a supportive environment. And so that was our 2 main strategies. Next slide.
Okay, so you want to know how we did this. The first thing we wanted to do is ensure that our students were comfortable in this learning community. We know from our research on professional learning communities on ground that we want students to have a level of comfortability. So we wanted the same for our virtual learning community. So what we did is we started to build a Canvas space because as we know, our students are comfortable with that. But little caveat, we didn't want it to be classroom feeling because nobody's going to want to come and belong to this space if it feels like a classroom. So we were very intentional about the setup of this learning community for our students, available 24/7 in their dashboard, on their dashboard through Canvas. They were able to go and access it. You can see the homepage is very simple. We went with 6 emojis or 6 icons that students have the opportunity to click in. It does not look like their classroom in a sense that there is a sense of comfort here. You can see live community meetings, chat with peers, professional development, badges, student resources, and then there's direct access to someone within those 5 programs. Our team is very collaborative, so it's nice just to send a message and someone with that level of support will be able to reach out to you. Each one of these icons does go to a different page. Some are university level, amazing, awesome pages that we already have. It's just the one-stop shop, one-stop file cabinet for students to come to gain their resources and gather for that. I think, can someone reshare their screen? I'm going to keep talking until that's done though. So on this space, we're allowed, go ahead, Paul.
I'll pull it up. I think she lost.
Okay, so this space is really, and I can go live and share my screen. I'm really familiar with this, so please just let me know if you need me to take over. So In this community, what we decided to do was use some of the university level resources that were already there and up and running. So one of them I'll just talk through off the top of my head is the Student Support Center. This has a bank of resources for our students to go into. As a matter of fact, at a team meeting last night, several students wanted to know where they could go, have access to the Office of Access and Wellness, have access to career services, have access to 24/7 tutoring. So we can send them to this one-stop shop that allows them to get university-sponsored resources, university-created resources, as well as resources that we can create for them. The beauty of this learning community is the fact that we were allowed to tailor the content. So as you can imagine, ECE students want ECE content. Thank you, Dr. Lopez. It looks like it's coming up. With that, we were able to look at and survey students to see what they wanted. Did they want additional course resources? Did they want research? What did they actually need and want? That being said, we also wanted to hear their voices. So when we thought about the makeup of this community, we did not want it to be ours. We wanted it to be theirs. So as you can see, hopefully it's going to pop back on the screen. Phew! As you can see, right here is the space where it does show that level of professionalism where we can provide students with resources, but at the same time, they are a part of this community. And to be very transparent, they're a much bigger part than we are. Next slide, please. So in the development of this community, one of the things that we wanted for students was a discussion board. And again, we did not want us to be the main participant in this. So as you can see on the screen, it very much started out as us. And it was quiet and there was crickets. And as you know from our research on learning communities, that is often how it starts. It starts with students just watching. The terminology in the field of research is lurkers. And we noticed that the level of lurkers was rising. So oddly enough, that was exciting for us because then we could see, hey, they need this, they want this, they're coming here. So then we started to see a transition from us having to initiate the discussions and us having to post to them starting to actually reach out. You can see on the screen, and it might be small, so I might squint a little, but you can see where they become very active in the bidirectional communication here, not with us, with their peers, which when you think about professional virtual learning communities, that's what you want, that sense of belonging, that sense of community, and that sense of connection. So as you can imagine, when we pulled this day, we were very excited. As we continue to grow this space, you can imagine the interactions are continuing to grow, which is really neat. And students, you can see there's some course chats there. There was one at one point in time wrote that was the struggle bus, and it just happened to be one that took off. It might not have been important to you or I, but you know what? It was important to students. And they were able to go in there and tell exactly how they felt. And guess what? Make that connection. Next slide, please. So another part of this, again, is using the university resources. I know you all know this, but the university resources that we have are incredible. So we wanted to really tap into them and highlight them because they truly are the full picture for our students. We utilize the connection here to just filter them out to places where they would need support, financial aid, career services. Again, we want this to be that one-stop shop, right? That one call that they can go to and find everything that they need. We often know that when we face those challenges or need those services, we're often in a time of challenge or panic. And sometimes it's hard to find those, right? And talk to the person you need to talk to. And we found that having this one-stop shop, again, brings them into this community and gives them a level of comfort to then be shifted out to the amazing resources that they might not be able to find on a site that was wide open. So we're really thankful and grateful for all the university services offered. On the right-hand side, then again, this is about our students. We wanted to hear our student voices. So we're able to send them a survey. And again, I didn't recreate the wheel here. All I did was reach out with what we already have. Dr. Newton Miller is one of my favorite presenters of all time. And you know what? He did a video about work-life management, and I've watched it 15 times. It is incredible. Our students' voices said, we need work-life balance. We need school-life balance. We need all, time management resources. So after we heard their voices, we were able to go find these resources, many of which were already created, and put them in there for them. So again, they have this space where their needs are being met, okay? Next slide, please. So in addition to the resources, I'm going to brag on this one a little bit because we are so dang proud of this one. This is the University of Arizona Center for Early Childhood Education. And this is growing every day. I am thrilled to say we're coming up on a year of it being launched. And again, this is that one-stop shop for what's after UAGC. What resources do we have to show the world? Because again, what we're doing is pretty incredible. So let's show everyone else on the World Wide Web, the internet, what ECE resources are at UAGC because they are high quality. So on here, when it pops up on the screen, you're going to be able to see the center, the vision and the mission. And then down below, it has access to our YouTube channel, which has thousands of hours of professional development. It has access to an early childhood education podcast, which allows students to listen for free, 10-minute, quick little professional development. Everything across the whole realm of early childhood education, from potty training to behavior management to literature, quality children's literature. So this quick one-stop shop allows for outside the course resources that are high quality. They are available for everyone, and people are talking about this. So not only do they have that sense of community and belonging while they're a student, they can walk away from UAGC and have the site to continually go back to. So we're very proud of this. This is also the landing page for the Early Childhood Education Conference, which we're thrilled to report was successful this year. We had over 1,000 attendees, and we're just really excited to see this continue to grow next year with partnership with TLC. So we're very excited about that. Next slide, please. When I stop talking, I will add these resources to the chat so that you can check it out too. We've learned a lot, just to be transparent, as you're supposed to with research. And one of the things that we learned, our students are motivated by badges. They are motivated by having their shout out. We all are, right? They are motivated by extrinsic factors that we have control over. So we sort of use this to our advantage a little bit in giving some highlights for people who were major minute makers, who started a discussion, who actively engaged in the community. What we noticed through our data that Dr. Lopez will share in just a minute is that when we did this, guess what happened? Our student participation rose, because they wanted to see if they were on the list. Exciting, and then again, encouraging that participation. So, and the students that got in there once, then all of a sudden you started to see those names again. So very excited about this. What can they do with the badges is often the words and the questions that we get. It's different for every single student. Some of them use them right in their classrooms as they, in their discussion boards. Others put them on their signature line or their email. But it just shows that they are truly invested in being a UAGC student, which is something we're very proud of in ECE. Next slide, please. Okay, and I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Simasek.
Okay, so one of our portions of our research was these live sessions that we touched upon briefly, and you'll see this was the invitation that we posted in the Canvas site for this month's session, which just happened a couple of days ago on Monday night, and we had nearly all full-time faculty there. Sometimes that happens and we're all there. Sometimes it's a couple of us, but once a month we put an announcement just like this and we invite our students into a live session. We generally let it run by the students. We will have a couple of prompts to get the communication going and conversation started. This month we did a couple breakout rooms where students broke out and carried on discussions on a couple of hot topics that they were interested in. One really cool thing to share that happened this Monday is that I did see a student pop in who had been there a few months ago. And a few months ago, she was in kind of a rough spot and she was not feeling successful, not feeling like she was going to finish. And she really leaned on everyone else in that live meeting to support her. They stayed online for a couple hours sharing ideas. And this Monday, that student showed up with a little graduation hat on that she put in, like the virtual filter on her screen because she's getting ready to graduate. So she felt supported a couple months ago. I think it was July when she showed up and really needed her peers. And she was one and a couple others that were really just giving advice to each other and sharing ideas and resources that exist at UAGC that Dr. Heald talked about, but they're sharing them with each other. So we start the conversation, then we kind of pull back and we let them go. And it's really fun to watch them connect and support one another. Next slide. A couple things that we learned about running these live meetings, and we are continuing to learn, is ways to kind of get these students attending. They at first aren't always sure if it's a live, like a learning session. And once they realize, no, it's not really, they're going to learn some things, but it's about them connecting. They're starting to understand what that is. They're popping in. They do better when we give them a reminder the day of the event. And even like the hour before or a few minutes before that this Zoom is going to start now, please join us. And they see that message pop in and they're coming in. So throughout the hour, they'll pop in and then join us that way. We really found that pulling back and just getting a couple of them engaged in conversation and letting them take over is really successful. That's what they want. And sometimes we will just let the meeting run and kind of we'll go off screen and off camera and let them take it over after a little while. While attendance isn't always high, those who attend participate quite a bit. So even if there's only 5 or 6 students who attend, they tend to talk a lot amongst each other. We're considering perhaps setting a set day per month instead of, right now we have it up to the host when they want to run that. We're considering making that a set day, thinking that perhaps they could count on that and that might be more incentive to come because they'll know when to expect it. And then just some things like having recent graduates, that was a big hit. And next month, I know that our host is going to have associate faculty attend so that students get a chance to meet some of the people who are teaching their classes outside of full-time faculty. Next slide, and that's Dr. Lopez.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for bearing with our technical issues. It's always bound to happen. So this is a little bit of our initial data that I wanted to share with you. So our students, we had people join. We had almost 3,000 people invited, 3,000 students invited to, and we had 2,500 students accept the invitation to participate in the Canvas course. And the Canvas, what was lovely about having being able to use Canvas was it was not only free, but it was something the students were already familiar with. So, and if they lost us, we could give them instructions on how to go back and find us in their courses in Canvas. We had 2,600 participations, which means that according to Canvas, they either posted something, they replied in a discussion, they started a discussion, they did some sort of activity within the Canvas forum, which we love to see. But we went off the charts with our page views. This means, so 76,000 page views over the course of not quite 2 years for 2,500 students. They were really interested, and we learned this after year 1, in just looking and seeing what's there. So not necessarily participating in a discussion, not necessarily joining a live meeting. They were really interested in getting the information. And we did have live meetings during this time, not necessarily every month. We had 155 attendees over the time frame from November 22 to August 2024. And let's see. Something to keep in mind, we learned a lot about using Canvas. So we learned that big blue button was not our favorite method of getting students involved. We now have moved to the Zoom platform to have student meetings, but we noticed that Canvas traffic increased significantly when badges were announced, live meetings were announced. They did pay attention to those announcements. So I would recommend for people starting a community like this, that you're strategically using announcements to get people to come into the community and view the content. Also, Canvas portal traffic increased with specific resources. And so what we ended up doing, especially after the first year of experience, we realized we started really listening to what was going on in the live meetings and in the discussions, and getting those resources out there. So the reason we had that time management resource was because that was the #1 issue that students were stating they were having issues with. Credentialing came up in here, because we don't offer teacher credentialing here at UAGC, but we do offer career services, and we do have information around career or credentialing. And so we created another link so that students could get that information right away. Another big aspect to this project was making sure that we didn't replicate services, right? So we didn't want to do the Student Resource Center all over again. We really wanted to create an environment where the focus is the student and their needs, and then we would link to the outside resource. Another big one that was transfer partnership information, and prior learning assessment information. People will say, oh, I have my Montessori training, or I have my credential over here in this particular field. You can get prior learning for that. And so we would have a post about that, have information about that. And a hot topic was how to access audio files, right? How to listen to your textbooks. So things like that kept the students coming back, and we sort of just kept our ear to the ground, and to create these resources or find the links to share with them so that they could be more successful.
Okay, so we have this space now. Where do we go with it? So the first thing we wanted to ensure that we did is look at our reflections. And I know we're coming close to time, so I'm going to kind of buzz through these, but feel free to send us an email and we'll give you the full recap. Ultimately, we talked a lot about the fact that we wanted to ensure that our students their needs were met as far as technology and adaptability and accommodations and, synchronous versus asynchronous. So we really had to think about what met their needs. Another part is we needed to ensure that somebody was present to ensure timely communication and monitoring. Again, lesson learned, you do have to be visible and active in the community so that you are able to just respond to those questions and students aren't left hanging. We wanted to ensure that the resources were concise. Accessibility is still something to be very transparent that we're continuing to learn and grow on. This is a process for us, not a product, and we are embracing it, but we are struggling a little bit with it. Our community, we wanted to ensure that we're giving all students, shared experiences while allowing them to balance life and learning, right? We don't want that additional, I have to go there. We wanted them to say, hey, I want to go there, right? And ultimately, we wanted that level of flexibility for them. Where are we going for the future? Again, it is built, so we just continue to evolve with what we know. What we decided is that we want to continue to keep the pages very interactive and personalized, creating that sense of community and comfort for our students. We want it to be theirs and not. Dr. Lopez, can you go back just for a second? We wanted to ensure that we were consistent with what we offered to students so that they could come to the live sessions. We were transparent in getting them the information that they could need to ensure that they were be able to participate. We wanted to, again, ensure that accessibility is open to each and every one of our students' needs. And that's very, very crucial for us. We're continuing to build our cultural inclusivity as well as our representation, as well as including, diverse resources, and just, again, listening to our students' voice. And then last again, very transparent. We want to ensure that we're using those analytics to build this community going forward with keeping our students at the forefront of everything that we do. So we continue to want to expand and build, but at the same time, we just need to make sure that that growth is something that is student-centered and student-led. And again, I do think as educators, we ensure that, that's important for us to make sure our students' needs are met. So that is something at our forefront. And then I'm going to say, go ahead to the next slide, please. And I don't know, we don't have too much time, but I think that this is a great place that we can open it up for a question or two, Kira, if we have the time.
We
The 1
have
minute.
some questions in the chat.
Yep, I was just about to say that there are a couple in there. There's one about how did you choose the 6 icons? And also, how did you get to students to get from the lurking stage?
So obviously the icons, we needed to use the branded folder. So that is something that we were intentional about, just ensuring that we were using all UAGC created materials and templates. I can speak to that one and then.
I know go ahead.
Yeah. So for the get them to begin lurking, we invited them to the Canvas course. So we sent out an email, a mass email. So everyone who had just joined, and we did this about every 3 months, all brand new students got an email welcoming them and inviting them to join the community.
All right, and we are at time. I just want to tell everyone I did put a link in the chat to a session feedback form. So please do take the survey. I also want to thank Drs. Heald, Lopez, and Simasek for a wonderful 30 minutes. My goodness, so inspiring what you're doing for those ECE students and growing your community and just really creating that sense of belonging through all of these resources. So you all are amazing, very inspiring, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day and have a good rest of your TLC. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Feel free to email me if you have any more questions. Happy to help you.
Take care, everyone. Bye.